It's 4 a.m. and I've been sick for a week. Producing videos is one of my top priority at the moment. To make it legitimately interesting, I have to go to a hell of a process. Your subscription with one like and watching my videos till you're fairly interested is so generous. And I'm so sorry about my voice. It's broken. I will try my best to keep myself hydrated with the coffee, which is very funny. And but anyways, let's hit it. On May 18, 1991, a rubber pipe is connected with the car exhaust, and the other end of the pipe is in the car. Doors are closed, windows are all the way rolled up. Car engine is fired up and keep running for hours. One man from one family is on the driver's seat behind the wheel, and a woman from another family is on the back seat of the car with some photographs of her kids, along with the headphones of the Walkman playing gospel music, found dead in the car by carbon monoxide. To many, it was a suicide. But why would two family members from different families would take their lives? Today, we delve into a harrowing story that captivated the hearts and minds of many, the dark tale of the lovebirds that I'm about to share with you in a world painted with passion and secrecy. Love might become a catalyst for unimaginable actions. We're gonna peel away the layers of this suspenseful saga, removing the curtains from a conspiracy that spirals into deception, suicide, or maybe double murder. And the haunting questions, of course. How far will you go for love, and what price will you pay for the truth? Now buckle up for a journey that keeps you up on the edges of your seats as we unravel the twisted face of two individuals bound together by the darkest desires, as we are uncovering one of the most notorious crime stories ever from the Northern Ireland. This case will shock you to the core, as it has shocked the world, because reopening of this case after 21 years to finally knowing the truth is honestly wild, shameful, ugly, and horrifying. Watch till end to know the darkest secrets of two idiots from the history. Welcome. If you are new, please hit the sub and like button to get our latest similar dark contents, movie reviews, recaps, or similar genre. Hitting the like button would be so generous of you. It will keep us motivated to produce better contents for you each time. I am Uzay Sipra, and welcome to another episode of Shocking Mystery on The Mirror. May 21, 1991. Two funerals took place. Okay, I will try to keep it very straight. You might have heard this story few times from different storytellers or narrators, but I'm sharing with you the same story with different perspectives. I just don't want to narrate to the point, but I also would like to dive into the roots with the possibilities to learn something from this case. Colin was born in March 14, 1959 in Northern Ireland. He was a fourth of the child among five from Sam and Sarah. He was raised in Woodville, Belfast, and attended Shankill Baptist Church. Colin belonged to a stern religious family. Oh, I forgot to tell you, he used to attend the church 3 times a day. So, upon reaching 13 of his age, he wanted to become an overseas missionary. Colin lacked confidence and self-esteem, and didn't have so many friends. Finishing his secondary school, he wanted to enter the medicine, but his grade kicked his butt. So he decided to become a dentist. Well, while on a greater side or greater part, he actually made it and he actually qualified and he traveled to India and Romania to provide free services. How good he was. But what exactly happened to him? Did a mad dog bit him? So, because of this stern upbringing by his parents, the idea to not have a sex before marriage, wait, it's not an idea, it's a rule in every religion sent by the Creator through so many books. The Gospel, the Torah, the Bible, the Quran, and thousands of scriptures. If these holy books had the same rules, and he was belonged to a strict religious family, going to church 3 times a day, then what went wrong? And where and how? This is my personal opinion, and many hopefully would be agreed with me. We humans, actually, we open our eyes in a battlefield, the war between good and evil. If we are surrounded by a good company, means a practice without hypocrisy, our belief would turn us or make us very strong. We'll avoid committing any crimes and sins with our utmost possibilities. But if sadly we are engaged with our allies, and our allies are corrupt and criminals, they will surely sooner or later put us in a mess that will be difficult to clean afterwards. Sometime one mistake or wrong turn of life would lead you to somewhere that difficult to make a U-turn, or sometimes there's no turning back. And in that case, big disasters await on the way. He knew sex before marriage is a sin, but again, sometimes hidden or forbidden things attract more to some people, as Satan is always with us on every stage of our life and mislead us, as he did to our forefathers or parents, grandparents, Adam and Eve, about the forbidden fruit. You remember that, right? He bought his first porn magazine when he was in the college, but that move made him obsessed with the pornography forever. I'm sorry. He was later met with Leslie Clark from a church gathering. Leslie was born in 1960 in Plymouth, which is located in the south coast of Devon on the southwest of England. Later, they moved to Dublin, and this is where she was raised. Leslie's family was a well-respected Christian family, but they were not strict as Colin's family. Like Colin, Leslie also wanted to get into medical, but she became a nurse and started her practice in Belfast, where Colin and Leslie started to date. As I said before, if we are surrounded by hypocrite people or have doubts in our own faith or belief, things turn really bad, or opposite. Both Leslie and Colin knew sex before marriage is a sin, but they failed badly, and they traveled to London for abortion 3 times. Something is attractive in the religion, so can believe, and something what is not attracted should leave it and do what is attracted and adapted. Made them miserable in practicing Christianity in this way. Both actually didn't want to get married, but having no choice, as nobody would want them, they finally got married in 1983 in Belfast. As I mentioned before, Leslie's family was not strict Christians, but Colin's, they were opposite of Leslie's. So during the marriage ceremony, one of the family wanted to enjoy alcohol, and other were opposite. Ended up, one family had the alcohol and the other side didn't. As Colin used to go to church 3 times a day, he used to play guitar every Sundays at the church. Also, Colin did a job as a minibus driver for a certain time, while Leslie was just a housewife. In 1996, Leslie gave birth to her child, and it was a baby girl. But On the other hand, Leslie lost her mother after giving birth to her child. As he was attached to her mother so much, so she suffered from mental depression. In 1989, Leslie gave another birth to her child, but the family was financially struggling. As time passed, when Leslie gave another birth to a child, which put Leslie in such a pain, she found out Colin was having an affair with a woman. We will talk in a short bit. Both Leslie and Colin wanted divorce, but they didn't. On the other hand, Hazel Buchanan was married to Trever, and they both had 2 kids. In 1986, couple moved to Coleraine. They were pretty happy couple. Trever was in the police force, while Hazel was doing a job as an assistant in a daycare facility and used to study Bible on Sundays in the church, where she met Colin. In short, Hazel's personality was opposite to Trever, as Trever was a quiet guy, a quiet person, never wanted any trouble. Okay, this is his daily routine. No ambitions for promotions, and do mostly what he is told by his wife. And you can tell about Hazel's personality from here. 1990, Colin and Hazel took swimming lessons along with the kids from the church, where children were learning about swimming. Colin started to help Hazel in learning swimming strokes, And as I said earlier, he was obsessed with pornography. So fantasizing everything led him to flirt with Hazel. And on the other hand, Hazel was also the similar character. So this is how they both started their relationship. But of course, church and the community didn't know in the earlier stage about their affair. But community had an eye on them as they used to flirt. But for them, nobody knew. Nobody knows about the affair. Of course, when you're going to flirt with someone, it will give somebody a hint that something is wrong, something is going on between 2 people. But anyway, by late 1990, Hazel got pregnant, but she wanted to know if that was from Trever or Colin. But she decided to terminate her pregnancy. And at the time, an elder from church spotted Colin and Hazel in the Castle Road Park and later asked Colin, but Colin denied it. As the time passed by, their affair became stronger and stronger. One time, another elder from the church confronted Hazel, and of course, she denied, but eventually she admitted. My God, coffee is gonna end soon. Okay. So the elderly told this to Leslie. She had this idea, but now it was for sure. She already had this idea, but now it was sure because the elderly, they were talking to her. And for Colin, he also admitted about the affair. So the elders from the church asked Colin to step down from the church duties and asked not to take communion anymore. Talking about Trever, when he came to know, without a doubt, he was extremely angry, like Leslie, but he couldn't do anything. But Leslie and Trever, they were so embarrassed in the community, but Leslie also did not stop herself to win Colin. In this kind of situation, when women, she already knows her husband is in some kind of this kind of stupidity, she does her best to win her husband back. So she did the same. First, she ended up in the hospital after mental health suffering, and after recovering, she was so down. And even knowing it's not possible at the point to win Colin back. She tried her best to change her haircut, dresses, but Mr. Colin was on a mission to win Hazel in his life forever. Or should I say, become obsessed with Hazel? You need to understand something very important about Leslie. She was getting down each day, failing and falling apart, losing her husband, and with this kind of pressure and fear, she was also trying her best to raise her kids, commit with her children, and raising them, which is pretty tough by even imagining. Oh my God, the poor woman. Again, time passed by, and in March 1991, Colin connected Hazel, expressed himself how the things are getting difficult for them. On one night, both Colin and Leslie had fight, and they were finding a way to escape from the situation. Leslie, after the argument, went to her bathtub in the bathroom to relax. While she was in the bathtub, she was listening to the music through a Walkman, and it was connected with the extension cord. Colin entered the bathroom and he held the extension cord and threatened Leslie that he would drop this into the bathtub to electrocute her. Looked like an accident. This was the first inclination that Colin would kill her if she would push the limits. After Leslie's mom passed away, her father moved to a smaller house in Castle Rock in County Londonderry, but soon later her father started suffering from a sickness, which ended up getting both Colin and Leslie moved into the same house. And one night, as they both returned home, they found Leslie's father collapsed in the kitchen, which later he passed away, leaving £200,000 for Leslie, giving her financial independency. At this point, Leslie wanted to leave Colin and said to Colin, maybe you and Hazel are meant to be together. On May 18, 1991, both Leslie and Trever, they were found dead in the car in the garage. A rubber pipe is connected with the car exhaust, and the other end of the rubber pipe is in the car. Doors are closed, windows are all the way rolled up, car engine is fired up, keep running. Hazel's husband Trever was on the driver's seat behind the wheel, and Colin's wife Leslie was on the back seat with some of the photographs of her kids, along with the headphones of the Walkman playing gospel music on her head, found dead in a car by carbon monoxide. Police was notified. Investigation started, and soon the case was closed. Of course, both families, they were already so ashamed and embarrassed in the community. And it was so clear Trever and Leslie could not take this pressure anymore, and they decided to take their own lives. Colin and Hazel, they were so depressed. Now you would be thinking, all is clear. Now Colin and Hazel can get together. For Hazel, something inside her mind was not that serious. After Leslie died, and as Hazel already had 2 children, and she would get pension from her late husband's services from the police, he offered. Now he's dead, and she didn't want to lose that pension. The main pain in the butt was she didn't want to raise Colin's 4 children. So total would be 6 children. And Hazel didn't want to do that. She wanted some easy come, easy go, joy kind of thing. Colin did his best to keep this relationship, but he failed. And eventually met a lady, Kylie, who was studying Irish in Ulster University and also going to church where she met Colin. And in 1997, they got married, and with Kylie, they had 5 children. But Kylie already had 2 children before. So, 2 children before, and then 5, 7, and then 4. So, in total, there were 11. To fast forward, 12 years passed. Colin was known as a God-fearing man by the church. He became like one of the strongest pillar in the community. Very important. As I said earlier, once again, everything was forgotten and forgiven. Things were all good until 2007. Colin heard a tragic news. His oldest son fell from the balcony and died in Russia. Then he was scammed and lost £350,000 in a money scam. It was another tragic news for him. Poor Colin started to suffer badly until 21 years passed. All in sudden, like a twisted story, Colin spoke up. Colin got a contact with elders from the church and invited them in his house and told them this. The day before Trever and Leslie were found dead in the car on 18th of May 1991, Leslie was sleeping on a couch in the living room in her house. Colin entered and he let the children stay up later than usual, so they would be tired to wake up during the night. When the children were sleeping, he locked them in the room. Colin took one of the baby bottle, cut it in half, and used it as a connector with the garden hose, which he connected that with the car exhaust, and he fired up the car and engine was keep running for hours. He took the hose into the room where Leslie was sleeping. After some time, Leslie realized about the situation, but at that time he was already very much dizzy. She called upon her son Matthew, who was locked up in his room sleeping. Poor Matthew, small kid. Colin saw this and he jumped on Leslie and he started to put a pressure on Leslie's mouth and completely until she was completely gone. Then he dressed her up. He took her in the trunk of his car, drove to Hazel, and Miss Hazel on the other hand, already done her job. A day before, Colin gave something to Hazel to mix with the food and give to Trever. Rest, you know what could happen. Yes, you're right. Trever was gone too. Colin then took Trever, dressed him, put him in the car behind the wheel, and put lifeless Leslie in the back seat of the car, put a gospel music on the Walkman, and put the headphone on her head, connected the rubber pipe with the car exhaust, and then he threw some photographs of happy memories of her kids on the floor. Looked like she just wanted to end her life, and she and Trever, they were both tired from this kind of shame and embarrassment. So when he already done this, then he called the elders from the church, asking them about his wife, if they had seen his wife day before they had an argument and big fight, so she never returned home. I'm talking about the 1991 incident. Now, the elders, of course, how could they know that? And they said, no, we didn't see her. And then he suggested go to visit her father's house. Maybe she's there. And until finally they found both dead in the car garage in her father's house. The reason Colin spoke up to the elders and gave them all the detail, his wife Kylie told him, God is punishing you through losing your son and losing the money because he committed these crimes. Well, and the cases, they were closed for decades. So the elders called upon the police and they arrested Colin right away, of course. And as for Hazel, she was one of the main characters of the story. Police arrested Hazel too. But she denied and said she was only with him because she feared her life and her children's life. But at the end of the road, she was sentenced to 18 years. As for the Colin, he was sentenced to 21 years. An additional 5 years for his sexual assault to his patients during his dentist practice. And the crimes list is huge. As you remember, in the beginning of the story, I mentioned he became obsessed with the pornography. This is where he used to sexually assault his patients. On the Kylie side, she never faced any charges. Even she kept Colin's secret of murder for years. She later gone back to US. 2016 dentist board decided that Colin would not receive his pension of £500,000. Now, the most important part of the story, what I want to share with you in few words. I feel so sorry for those who become the victim, those children, those was affected by these who forgot everything for their thirst, their obsession. Their obsession became the top priority, and then what? And at the end, they always rot in prison or take their own lives or leave someone to suffer in life. This is brutal and sad. Rest, you be the judge. That is all for today. And if you are a fan of the strange, dark crimes, horror and story format, or movie reviews or recap format, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have your own story and you want to share with me, you can send it to me to my Instagram, which is uzair.sipra. And as always, please take care of yourself and your surroundings. And again, I'm so sorry about my voice. I wish I could do a better job and could tell you in a better way. And I promise I'm working hard from all aspects to provide you a better infotainment. I'm Uzair Sipra. Until next time.